Hey YouTube, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles. Sorry I can't get too close, social distancing. Actually, it's because there's a gaboon viper between me and the camera. Today's video, by the way, isn't she doing wonderful? This is Lilith. If you remember when we first got that little gaboon viper, she has grown up so well, and I wanted to show her out of her cage and show how she's doing with all the colors and beauty. You can look at the back end. She is building a big poop for me, or it's a baby girl. But today's video is going to be all about the equipment that I think one needs to keep the most basic of venomous snakes. Not tailored to a gaboon viper necessarily. Are you making noises? Just venomous snakes in general. So we're going to go through everything that we keep on hand that I think is a must-have if you're going to get into this hobby. All right, we're going to cut now and get her out of here so I can start showing equipment, because I really can't do that with her on the table. She takes too much of my focus. Woo, YouTube, that was fun. So we got Lilith put back, and before we go showing some more of our equipment, I do want to give a big shout out and a thanks for the t-shirt from A&K Pythons, or Reptiles, sorry, A&K Reptiles. I am curious though, for all of us that have emblems, why are emblems so angry? It's like skulls and things on a lot of us, and you know, mine is a symbol of rebellion from back in the Revolutionary War days. So why are all of us reptile keepers, why are we so angry? How come nobody has like, well, I can see why nobody has kittens. That wouldn't work. But like a little girl playing jump rope with a snake or something as an emblem. Does anybody have a happy emblem, or are we all going the angry, scary route? Anyway, I think it's a really cool shirt, so check them out. Get one if you can. Skull Python, can't beat that. On to the equipment we have. First and foremost, often overlooked, but never should be, these guys right here. You need locks. You know, if you're going to run a sliding front style cage like what Lilith is actually in, you need a jeweler's lock like this that will keep that cage from opening. You know, I've got my keys to that right here on my keychain. I actually got two numbers. Oh shit, that one didn't work. So I got this one. Wait a minute. Hey, there it goes. So really important that you know where your keys are. And I have them scattered, but I always have a set with me. And you keep your cages locked with those. If you're running a cage that's got some kind of door on it or something like that, a la Reaper's cage, then I would really recommend locking it too. And it can be something as simple as this little master lock. You know, I'm not trying to make this Fort Knox, okay? Mostly it's a reminder that I closed the cage, for one. If I have to go and physically put a lock on it, then I'm double checking that the cage is actually closed, correct? So it's a safety check in a lot of ways. It also keeps little kids and people out, people from just opening the cage, something like that. Sorry, my camera lady has COVID. We're in self-quarantine. We're probably all going to die. No, we don't have, she's just got allergies. But that's the main reason behind this. It's not, it's like, okay, I often compare venomous snakes to owning guns. I do think there's some similarities. And that is, you know, if you keep your gun safe and secure and you have a gun cabinet and you put them in there and lock them, you know, it tends to make you go through those safety checks. This does the same thing, guys. So have locks. Locks are very, very important. So that is equipment piece number one. You have to lock your cages. If you're not locking your cages, you know, you're physically doing something every time to ensure that cage is actually closed with a venomous snake, you're not doing it right. Some people say, well, I'll never leave a cage open. Man, I'll be honest, I left cage the other day. I had a carpet python crawling out. I was like, oh shit, get back in there. You can't have that with a venomous cage, right? Those locks prevent you from doing that. The next thing is something to pick up snakes with. The first thing I'm going to tell you to get, this is a really old-fashioned one from way back in the day, is a set of tongs. Now there's flat tongs that may be a little more nicer than this. This is a great set of field tongs. And you should hardly ever use this, okay? You should have it. You should have it. But this should not be a tool that you're going to use a lot. I would say there's one snake I use this on fairly gently, just to kind of grab and move quicker. I don't have to do that with her or anything, but that's because she can be a little bit feisty and wants to bite herself, and I use this more to prevent her from doing that if she's not going to hook well. But you need a set of these, because every now and then, if a hook ain't going to do, or if a snake's in a bad position and you just need to do something quick to prevent someone from getting bit, these are your friend. So a set of tongs. Again, somebody's going to look at this and say, those are terrible, you should never use tongs. I agree. You really shouldn't be using tongs in captivity. Until that time, a snake's on the floor and it's going to bite you or somebody else and you're in a bad position, and these should be close to you to grab just to prevent that. That's about it. The tool you should be using to move your snakes 99.9% of the time are these guys right here. And that is a set of hooks. I mean, you can go with a simple hook. This is one of the first hooks I ever had. It's from Midwest Tongs. I think I bought it off of Amazon or some shit. I don't know. It's pretty basic, pretty light, got good length, you know. Nice hook. I've used it a lot. I've used it on, as you can tell, rough surfaces in captivity. I've used it in the field. I feel very confident with it. You know, and this is still the hook that if I'm going to go out in the field, I know I'm going to be out looking for something in the wild, this is the hook I'm going to take, okay? This one, I've got one of the one back at the house that's pretty much going to live in my Jeep all the time. It's a little 24-inch one. The reason for that is because sometimes maybe, you know, you kind of upgrade your shit and you go with my boys from Get Hooked and they make you some nice custom shit, right? This hook stays in the house. This is my main handling hook for at home. I like the grip on it a lot better than this. It is a little shorter, just for full disclosure. I am going to lose about a handle width, but honest to goodness, guys, this is pretty big. When I first started, I wanted as long as possible. Working in a cage, this is just fine. They put me my custom Wildcats putter on it and go K-State. I've got the Power Cat cap. And then if you look really close, they wrapped it in a purple skull wrap in there. So you can get these at gethookedllc.com. If you're a Patreon member, I do believe there's a discount on that stuff. But they are a really awesome hook. But again, depending on what species you're keeping, or if you have a baby, I also like to always have a small hook. So this is also from Get Hooked. That's what they call their Viper series. No, this isn't an advertisement. It's just some of the equipment you got to have. I don't care where you get your small hook. My 24-inch field hook, I couldn't even tell you who made it, the one that lives in my Jeep. Although I probably will get one from them eventually because theirs are nicer than the one that I've got. But this is nice if it's a small species. Like right now I have a small prairie. This tends to be the hook I use on the small prairie. This is good till, well, they get past about 3 feet. This start might making you a little bit nervous. But your small vipers, you know, your young copperheads, your young massies or adult massies, things like that, this is a great hook for. And being this much closer and not having as much of a lever as this big bastard does make, I think, handling a little easier. So if you can use a small hook safely, I'd say do. So I also recommend one of those. One cool thing about that company is, well, they come in colors. So mine's purple. Go figure. So far we've covered locks, hooks, right? Next thing we're going to cover, I'm not going to show it to you, but because they're all in there. You've seen them before, is cages. Obviously, this isn't an ad because most of you know TGR has kind of stopped business right now with COVID and everything else going on. And I don't know if they're going to come back. I'm hoping they do because I love their cages. But you need a nice, secure cage you trust. Don't get a venomous snake and put it in some janky ass shit. Don't do it, okay? Do not fucking do that. Do I need to repeat that? Is there somebody out there that doesn't understand that you should not get an animal with the potential to hurt you or somebody else very, very badly or even kill you and put it in some janky ass shit? Don't do it. Make sure it's a secure cage. And that doesn't mean you got to go spend a mint, okay? There's other cages out there that are very secure that we've used ourselves, you know, with clamps on top. Well, I don't like seeing some guy going, here's my monocle cobra, and he's got a cage with, like, you know, a chemistry book laying on it. What the fuck, man? Let's not do that. Make sure your shit is secure. It is very, very important. One, if you have that snake get out and run around and cause a problem, not only does it hurt you, it hurts everybody else in the venomous keeping hobby. You make all of us look like jackasses. Don't make us look like jackasses. Because then, when people do that, like, I don't know, people want to take it out and twirl around and freehandle after they put it in the refrigerator or something, show how badass they are. When they get bit, I lose my rights. So that really pisses me off. So if you're going to keep venomous, I advocate for you. I want you to do it. If it's something you're comfortable with, I say do it. But I say do it as smart as you can and try not to lose your rights or make me lose mine. Speaking of that, what are you going to do when you take that snake out of the cage? Because you are going to have to fully service that cage at times. That snake will need to come out for that cage to be serviced, cleaned, fixed. If the heat goes out, whatever, that you are going to have to take that snake out for. Maybe you run a YouTube channel and you need to throw a Gaboon Viper on a table to have an intro. How are you going to manage that? Well, you got a couple options. First one, this is also great for in the field, is a simple bucket, right? Now ours says, danger, venomous reptiles. How anybody comes across this bucket knows. If you open this bucket, you know what, I should show this sticker. That one's kind of fucked up there. That one's a little nicer. Now, there may be bad things inside of it. Right now, there's not. If you are going to go with the bucket, let's think. You may put small snakes in here, snakes that can kind of crawl up the side, things like that. I've had 4-foot westerns in this before. That's a little bit fun. So it's been modified in some ways. I don't want a bucket that I'm doing this with and having to pry open. That's bad news bears. So what we have here is a bucket with a screw top lid. You can do two things. Once it's all the way open, you can open it like this using my hand. I'll show you my right hand. Using my hand as a shield. Holding it like a shield so I can take that off without ever exposing myself to what's inside. Always look, see, nothing inside. So that's a safe way of doing that. If you got something that you're afraid is going to launch out, you can also take a tool, a hook. We use a zip tie here through those two holes. It does have holes for air as well. And you can just catch that zip tie, lift right off, put it there. You can try to use a zip tie to put the snake in there. My preference is if you got the snake in, just to get it on there, okay, with my hand. And again, using my hand, I'm using this as a shield for my anatomy. If you got one that's really crazy and you don't want to do that, you probably should have two people there anyway. See, that's not as easy to get to set. There it went. And then, of course, pressure and seal. So that is one way. Once that's locked down, nothing's going to open it. If you're dealing with rattlesnakes, some people are like, oh, if you move the bucket, it's going to rattle and you'll know if something's in there. No, it won't. Always assume something's in there unless you know, okay, if you don't know what somebody's done with it. So, working in the house, though, I find that to be a little bit too small. Scrape from the field, fits in the car. This, however, does not fit in the car very well, but it is great. I use this to soak my venomous snakes when needed. There is a rock in there. You're probably wondering why that's just add some weight so it doesn't tip over as easy. If you're putting the snake in, they push on the side. That's one bad thing. See? Oh, that can happen. So be prepared for that. It is on wheels. I may go to one that's not on wheels someday because of that aspect. Probably should. But some sort of good trash can is nice. The reason being is I can put that snake in there and you can look. I mean, I can barely touch the bottom if I run my arm in there. So that means there's probably 2.5, 3 feet deep, which is great because with that, there's not very many snakes that are going to be able to strike straight up 3 feet, which means that when I open that, I'm in a very, very safe position to take one of my hooks and be able to get in there. I mean, you can see it's almost as deep as my hook. Be able to get in there, watching the snake, manipulating it, and pick it up out and move it. I can take my time. I can work very, very safe. It's smooth side. It's very hard for a snake to crawl out. Also, the lid stays with it, folds on with a little bit of pressure. You'll hear it latch down. And then I always like to put something on it. You're thinking, well, that's not enough weight. No, the latch is keeping it in there. This is just so if something fails, I hear something fall. That's all it's for, to alert me, hey, something's going on. And when it's time to open it, I got a snake in there, which we just did a minute ago. I come from behind, pop the latch. I don't know how else is going to show, but when I pop the latch here, my fingers still are not exposed. See that? I get it ready. And then when this is ready to open, I've never exposed my fingers. We can grip here a lot of times without exposing our fingers and open it, and then gently lay this down. Or, if you're not so keen on that, you can get it started without exposing your fingers, grab with the tool, also open it. So, that is some of the things we need. So if you're going to get a venomous snake, what I'm going to tell you is something a guy told me when I got my first one, and actually it was a guy by the name of Vince Lombardi, who had kept a few venomous snakes in his day, if anybody knows Vince. Not that Vince Lombardi, you Packer fans. If he was even related to that Vince Lombardi, we wouldn't be friends. And Vince told me something that I thought, I don't know if that's true or not. Vince was very honest, and it's very true. When you go to get your first venomous snake, you are going to spend more on equipment than you are on the snake. 9 times out of 10, unless you're going to go buy some crazy, crazy thing. And so, you know, when I acquired my first venomous snake, I think I didn't have to buy it. I had to pay somebody to go on their land and get it. But with that, you know, that was kind of the cost of getting, I think I spent 3 times the amount getting a cage, and I already had some of the tools, you know, making sure that everything's set up to be very, very safe. So you just need to plan on that. And guys, otherwise it's a wonderful hobby, but if you're going to get into it, have these tools. And if you wonder why this video has a story that inspires it, I'll tell you now. I had a guy walk into a shop that I'm affiliated with and told me he had caught himself a baby rattlesnake. And in fact, he had caught himself a baby rattlesnake that he planned on keeping for a pet. I said, that's great, man. I started kind of asking him if he had everything he needed, equipment-wise. And one of the things I asked was, he was a little mouse, and said, do you have a hook? Oh, no, I don't have a hook. Okay. Well, how do you pick it up? Well, I don't. Okay. What do you do when you need to clean the cage? Oh, I use a coat hanger, and I pick it up with a coat hanger, and I put it in this Folgers can. Put the lid on the Folgers can. And I was like, oh my God, you're gonna fucking die, and you're gonna make me lose my rights. This is a self-serving video. I don't want to lose my rights. So we had a little chit-chat about why that was a bad idea. I had to literally go through the motions of how do you open your coffee can. Well, I grab it here, and I open like this. I said, pause. Where's the snake? Where's your fingers? He goes, oh yeah, oh shit, that ain't good. Now, he didn't really have it. He was mimicking. And so then I kind of showed him some of the things he would need and kind of got him set up how he could do it safely. If he really had his heart set on keeping it, he was like, maybe I should just let it go where I found it. I said, yeah, that might be a good idea. But again, if you want to keep it, just know, have a nice cage, have locks, have the tools to move it, not just the hooks. Have your worst case, oh shit scenario tool, okay? You ain't got to go buy the fanciest one because you're never going to hardly use it anyway. Have your stuff to house that snake. Have your stuff to transport that snake. I'm not going to put it in that trash can and take one to the vet. But if my scaleless Western Diamondback needs a vet visit, it is going to go in here and it is going to go to my vet with me. They're going to be so happy when I walk in the door with a rattlesnake. So that's my point, guys. Just have your stuff in line. Question girl, any questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Was that customer related to Joe Exotic?
No, he was not. He was not related to old Joe at all. For those of you that don't know, my wife will not watch The Tiger King because she says it hits a little too close to home. I don't know exactly what that means, but thanks, Joe Exotic. She is now even more dead set against me ever having a tiger. So appreciate you, bud. Although, I want to say, and I want to know your opinion in the comments. Tell me what you think. I think, A, Joe was probably set up by that other dude, and B, Carol Baskin killed her husband. I'm just going to say it right now. That's my thoughts. I want to hear from you in the comments. One, is Joe innocent of the murder for hire? He's guilty of a lot of other shit, like, I don't know, giving meth to straight dudes to make them gay. I don't know how the hell that works. And B, did Carol Baskin, in fact, kill her husband and either feed him to the tigers, hide him under the septic tank, or dispose of him in some other way, shape, or form? All right, anything else, question girl?
Yes. The bucket that you have, did you buy the bucket separately and add the stickers on front? Or can you buy a bucket like that? Because I noticed those signs are taped on.
They are taped on. So I did not buy this separately. When I bought a collection from somebody, it came with this bucket. You know, before that, what I would use to move Reaper, doesn't have to be a bucket like this. I would use a large, deep tub that I could put him in and put like a locking tub. And I would just put a level of tape on it to make sure it stayed closed as well. And that's how I would transport Reap if I needed. And then when we bought a collection from somebody, it came with this bucket. It also came with the small hook that I keep in the Jeep now. So, but this is just a simple bucket. I believe it will tell you the brand on it. Rochester. No, you can go to Home Depot though, and you can buy you a 5-gallon bucket. And then all you need is you need to get the screw top, which they also sell there, I believe, or online, or Menards. Or, you know what, if one of you hardware stores with your big-ass deep pockets wants to sponsor me, I'll gladly hawk your buckets for you, because they're all the same shit, right? But you put this ring on here, that's a screw top ring, which will stay on permanently, and then you have the screw top lid. And then all that has to be done here to modify that is, if you look, they punctured the holes there for air. You can kind of see them better on that side. And then put in 2 holes and the zip tie. And that is pretty much it. Whereas before, I just had a tub with a zip tie. Anything else, question girl?
Nope, that's it.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. We're going to switch over to Patreon and let Question Girl talk about how she felt having Lilith out on a table, who she is terrified of. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.